Welcome. It is your favorite bikini competitor beekeeper checking in from outside today. So it is week 13. And yes, I am sitting outside in my big giant hat. I'm going to talk a little bit today about plans for the week and also some just kind of skin tips in general. And it is a cloudy day. I'm actually going to turn you guys around so you can see it. So as you can see, it is looking like it wants to storm. Look at that. Some big, beautiful thunderclouds building. I probably am going to get rained on if I don't hurry up. So I am finished with work. It's in the evening. The thunderclouds are moving in. I'm going to run to Whole Foods and do a return. I have talked a little bit about implementing wearing a waist trainer more to kind of help with some of my rib flare when I'm posing. And I am on the last hook of the waist trainer I have, so I wanted to order a smaller one. Well, the one that came I thought was the exact same one that I had previously, so I just ordered one size down, which would have been the extra small because I have the small, and it's like super tiny. So that I did some more research online and looked up some other options, and I do measure out at an extra small right now, so I ordered in a slightly different style. I ordered a small and an extra small, and they will be delivered today, but in the meantime I'm going to return the one that doesn't fit to Whole Foods or to Amazon, so I'm going to be taking that one back. If you guys are interested in the waist trainer, if I keep the ones that are coming, I can definitely leave me a comment and I will shoot you the link. It's so tough because I'm not a huge fan of like fast fashion and try to do my best to support local and American-made companies, but it does seem like so many of these types of things are, even if you buy them from a company that's based in the States, they're probably still sourcing it from out of the country, so that is what it is. So anyway, I am still on the search for a new, smaller waist trainer that'll be a little bit tighter and really help me with that rib flare. And I do feel like it is already helping. It's just the reminder, and then focusing more when I am doing some ab work in the gym on really making sure that I'm not allowing that rib cage to flare. And when I do my vacuums, I've limited how many vacuums I'm doing a day. That was another recommendation from Karen, my posing coach, to maybe pull back a little bit on the vacuums, even though I do need to, work on my lower abdominal control, try more just to really work on more flatness in the entire abdomen versus trying to really vacuum or, and then of course flaring my ribs. So that's where we're at with the waist trainer situation. So let's talk a little bit about the sun. So yes, it is a cloudy day and I am sitting out here in my beekeeper hat and I have a long sleeve shirt on, even though it's, in the 80s. And there are a couple things. When you are a bikini competitor, you are judged on your overall presentation, and that overall presentation does include your skin. And as a masters competitor, obviously there are things about my skin that I would love to change. I have, some veins that I don't love. I have laxity, especially on the back of my thighs and on my glutes that I don't love, skin laxity. But those are things I can the tan covers the veins when I'm, the show tan covers that, and the skin laxity I can kind of pose in certain ways to pose around it essentially, or make it not as noticeable, or I know how to kind of hide it when I'm posing. However, if you were, let's say, to get a really intense sunburn, or you had very deep ingrained tan lines, even the best competition tan is not going to be able to fully cover all of that up. And it is summer, so of course everybody wants to be outside and, living your best life, laying out in the sun. However, if you are competing, especially within a few months of your competition, I think it's wise to be extremely cautious about getting visible tan lines and or getting a very uneven tan and or burn. They can do their best to try and match some of those things, but if you have very, very obvious tan lines that are super deep, it might be really hard for them to cover, and that could really be distracting from your overall look. Sorry, the wind is picking up. As you saw, the storm is coming, so we'll see if it gets too windy, I'm going to have to go inside and finish this off inside and hopefully not get rained on when I walk to Whole Foods. So, being cautious with your sun exposure. Like I said, I end up just wearing a long sleeve shirt most of the time when I'm out walking. I do have sunscreen on my neck and chest, put more sunscreen on. For me, I would much rather have my skin, be as good as it can possibly be and accept the tan as well as it possibly can, versus maybe being, as sun-bronzed as I'd love to be in the off season or in my prep season. And of course you can spray tan and do natural tanners and stuff like that, but you do still want to make sure that you're not getting sunburned in addition to all of that. Just one of those little tan hacks when you do prepare for tan. I'm sure I will talk a lot more about my tanning as we get a little bit closer to show, but you do want your skin to be really in a place where it can absorb and accept the tanning products. Anyone who has self-tanned before, oh gosh, wind is winding, might lose my hat, knows that, if you don't have your skin prepped really well, meaning exfoliated and properly hydrated with nothing on, no oils, you can't even wear deodorant right before a stage. So your skin prep is as important as the tan itself. In bikini, we are judged on that. Maybe in men's bodybuilding, if you didn't have a great tan, but you had the best physique, they'd overlook the fact that your tan was really bad. But in bikini, if your tan is very distracting from your physique, in those split seconds that the judges have to look at you when you're in the lineup, they're just gonna look past it, even if you have the best physique on stage, or even worse, if you have a tan line that is like so notable that it's actually blocking some of your physique. Like that would be really devastating too. So err on the side of caution. I am going to end this here as the camera gets blown over. And I'm sure I'll be checking in again soon. So happy week 13. So clearly the storm came and I had to move inside. Well, actually I ended up walking to Whole Foods to do that return for Amazon for the waist trainer. I'm going to talk a lot more about my ongoing waist trainer saga at the end of this video in my outro clip, just so I don't kind of waste time. If people aren't interested in hearing about waist trainers, just know that that's going to be coming in the outro. And if you do want to hear about it, that's where you can find it. So this week, my coach didn't make any changes to my plan. He did encourage me to increase my carbs even a little bit more on days when I felt comfortable doing so. Not by a whole lot, but just kind of pushing it. I joked with him that he's holding my feet to the carb fire. Just trying to make sure that I keep a stable weight at this point and don't drop too quickly, since we do have some time before the show. I realized when I was going back and editing, I inserted this week's progress pictures in last week's video because I was kind of editing these at the same time. So instead of putting in this week's progress pictures, which you've already seen, you saw them in last week's video, I'm going to just insert my posing video so you can watch me do my little posing routine as I kind of talk through the rest of this. I did ask my coach about making any adjustments to my training, and for right now, we're still keeping it a 4-day split. I am doing a very moderate amount of cardio, and that's by my choice. I actually kept cardio in the off season. I reduced it significantly. However, I like doing cardio. It's kind of some of my quiet time, essentially, or my mind quiet time at the gym. I do it for cardiac health and for other reasons unrelated to bodybuilding goals. So we've just kept it where I had it at the off season. So we haven't increased my cardio or added any cardio. I'm just doing the same cardio that I was doing prior to prep starting. The first clip you're going to see in this video is actually from last week also. Clearly world's worst editor, but I'm getting better. And it is from Saturday morning, right after the posing seminar that I went to with Team Elite Physique and Ashley Kaltwasser. I just thought it was meaningful enough to leave in. It was just kind of me talking about that, and then also what I had planned for last Saturday. So please enjoy that clip. And then I'm going to take you guys along for me doing my meal prep for my first meal of my post-workout meal that I have every day in real time. You get to see the whole thing. So it's not what I would recommend anybody follow. Again, bodybuilding is extreme, and this is not my recommendation for you from a nutritional therapist to you as a person for you to follow this diet, but I think it's interesting to see. Also hoping that the next couple of weeks I have some fun things planned and that people would be interested in hearing about them. If there's anything else that you guys would like to hear about or have questions about prepping in general, please leave me a comment or a question, and I'm happy to cover that. I've said before, I'm pretty much an open book. I'm happy to talk about anything as long as it's appropriate to bodybuilding and what we're discussing here. I'm planning on covering next week my prep kind of essentials, at least at the beginning of prep, and I will probably do another one of these as it gets like close to show, like maybe show day essentials. But there are definitely things that I implement in my life, like you saw in the mobility video from last week, that just make prep easier or help me stay more human during the hard parts of prep. Like, I'm really fortunate to have a very supportive employer, and my assistant is amazing. So I do have good support on that sense, but it's a journey that you take kind of alone. Bodybuilding can be kind of isolating, kind of lonely, and it's something that you just have to do every day. So there are definitely things that I implement when I start prep that just kind of keep my head in the game, keep me from getting too caught up in prep and forgetting about other things in life. And I'll talk about those in next week's video. I also am at some point going to start covering practicing for my show day makeup. I know it seems like that might be far out, but because I do my own makeup, I do like to start practicing pretty early on. And on that same vein, if you would love to follow a really awesome figure competitor, this channel, or this, wherever I put this, Blue Collar Bodybuilding, it's actually a couples channel. They both compete, and really, really awesome to see. But I was communicating back and forth with Jackie this week a little bit about her show day makeup. She's actually competing at Universe, which when I'm recording this is I think less than 3 weeks away. So that's going to be here really soon. So she's been practicing her makeup, and she's just an amazing artist. So definitely follow their channel, especially if you have a partner or a spouse who competes as well. It's really fun to see how they have a great dynamic since they both compete. And like I said, when you get into prep, you know, things in your life do change. So having someone who understands that is really awesome. So I think that covers pretty much everything for this week. I will be talking more about waist trainers at the very end of the video. Enjoy my forgotten clip from last week and also my meal prep. And other than that, this was not one of those super interesting weeks on prep. It was kind of one where I was just checking boxes and getting stuff done. So sometimes in prep, that's really all you can do. I hope you guys enjoy it. Again, if you have any questions, please leave me a question in the question box. If you didn't see last week's video where I talk about mobility, it's a great one. I cover some really awesome modalities and things you can do at home to just stay healthy, stay lifting, stay vibrant in the gym. So hope everyone is having an awesome week, and I'll see you in the next clip. Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday morning. Sorry for the shaky footage. I am doing my Saturday morning cardio. Saturday is an off day from lifting, but I do hit some cardio, and I'm doing on the stairs this morning. I have an exciting day today. I have a little bit of work this morning, and then I'm going to be a guest on the Anabolic Bodybuilding live podcast. It is so much fun every Saturday. Great group of guys and a lady occasionally. We have so much fun. We talk about all things bodybuilding and just life, and it's a really good time. So I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. You guys should definitely check it out if you're at all interested in bodybuilding or just want to hear a really fun conversation on Saturday mornings. So yesterday I did the Team Elite Physique posing ceremony. I don't know why that's been so hard for me to say. I keep wanting to say posing ceremony. It is not a posing ceremony. It is a posing seminar, and it was great. I have great footage that I will be inserting right after this clip, kind of going over everything that we talked about, and I just thought it was so awesome that, you know, the day before show, this amazing bikini pro and her coach were willing to take their time to do a seminar. Seminar is the word, for, you know, new and experienced and everybody. Really awesome that they did that. So I have some footage that I will insert here. I was kind of like the smell of the tan, just being around all the competitors yesterday. Intimidating to be around bikini pros because they are a whole other level of athlete. It's incredible. Inspiring but intimidating at the same time. So very, very cool to get to be there and to see them. And like I said, just being in that environment. You know, I haven't been to a show since my last show, which was over 6 months ago. So being in that world again, and the smell of the spray tan just gets you all excited to compete. So I'm gonna keep trekking away here on the stairs, and I will take you guys along for some more clips of my day today. And yeah, enjoy the footage from yesterday's posing seminar. That's the word. Oh my goodness. Good morning. It is Sunday morning, and I'm going to take you through my kind of morning routine. This is the same for me every day that I get ready, essentially, for my first meal of the day, which is my post-workout meal. I mean, I guess technically my pre-workout meal might be my first meal of the day, but it's just a protein shake and some rice cakes. So it's hardly anything interesting to see. But my post-workout meal is right now I do oats and a protein shake. I love my protein shakes. Not everybody does, but I'm a big fan. So I'm going to take you through in real time what I do every morning when I make my post-workout meal. All right, so I have all my stuff out and I keep everything really close by. I mean, today I just put all out on the counter, but it's all just within arm's reach essentially. So this is real time. This is exactly how long it takes me to do this. And this is what I do. So the first thing I do is I weigh out my coffee beans. Right now I am using decaf coffee, 100% decaf, just because I do a pre-workout and I don't need the additional caffeine, but I just really love like the ritual of coffee and the smell and just the warmth and everything about it. So I do about 28 to 30 grams of beans. Perfect. And this is going to be you'll see a total of about 500 grams of water. And I use an AeroPress to make my coffee, so it's super quick and easy. I'm just going to grind these up quickly, and hopefully I figure out how to mute this so you guys don't have to hear me grinding beans. So the grind you're going for with an AeroPress is maybe slightly coarser than you would do or about the same as you would do for a cone or a pour over. It should be, not quite as fine as you would do for a flat, but pretty fine. And then because I am clumsy and dumping it directly into the AeroPress is challenging, I actually just dump it into a paper filter. And then it's not so much of a hazard for me to dump it into this little space here. So this is the AeroPress. I do the inversion method, which means I kind of brew it basically upside down. So if you're doing a typical AeroPress, it would be the other way around, but I do it upside down. What I usually do when I first get home from the gym, I fill my water kettle the night before. So as soon as I walk in the door from the gym, I push the power so it starts to get ready to boil. And the first thing I'm gonna do is put in about 70 to 100 grams of water into my AeroPress. Just want enough to kind of like bloom the grounds, and then I'm going to give it about 30 stirs. And I just count that in my head. All right, and then fill it up the rest of the way, which is basically to the top. It's usually around 200 grams total. I aim for 200 to 210, however much. There we go, that's 210. Let's just stop there. All right, so I'm going to move that to the side, and I'm going to start my timer for 1 minute. Oh, not cook. Timer. Okay, and while that does its thing, I'm going to wet the filter into my cup. The only thing that would make this more perfect is if this would just rest here, because I have to hold it. And I know that's not like a hard thing to do, but I'm always afraid I'm going to burn myself. So I do it into the cup I'm going to put the coffee into to just pre-warm the cup a little bit. And then it doesn't waste this water. This water is doing its job to heat up my cup. I'm gonna just really gently just kind of rest it there for a second while that does the rest of the minute. While that's happening, I get my oatmeal bowl over here, and I'm gonna weigh out 40 grams of oats. My carbs went up a little bit. I think I may have mentioned that a little bit. So 40 grams of oats, and I do grind these. I grind a whole bunch at a time, and that way I have them like for the week. It always seems like so much when you go up even 5 grams, like, ooh. All right, there's the timer. Even though the timer's gone, I'm still just gonna put the rest of the stuff in here, which is just some cinnamon. The minute is loose. AeroPress is so easy, like you really can't mess it up. 1 packet of stevia in the raw. And a tiny little bit of butter flavor. This is like such a game changer for oats. It really gives them this like really nice, warm, like buttery flavor, but makes it taste like a baked good. Some people put vanilla in. I actually like the butter better. So I do butter and then a good dash of salt. All right, so I'll put that to the side. I'm gonna put the filter on the rest of the way. The reason I don't put it on the rest of the way when I first do it is because, and yes, I keep this towel handy at all times because I'm a messy person and clumsy. It can make it kind of spill over. So I wait till it's ready to go. Dump out the water that's in there, and then I'm gonna flip it onto my cup. And this is where people, I think, really overthink this process. Like they think it has to be like flipped super crazy fast, and this is way drippier than it usually is. But I mean, you can see if I lift it up, there's a siphon formed by the plunger, so it's not gonna drip. So you don't have to like be terrified to flip this. It's gonna flip just fine. And then I plunge. It takes about 30 seconds to plunge it all the way down. You know, you don't want to, it'll only go so fast, but you don't want to try and like force it too quickly. Just kind of let gravity take its path. And then you'll hear like a slight little hiss when it gets to the very end. Getting close. And I usually just push. Some people don't push past the hiss. I do. There it is. All right, I'm gonna set that to the side for just a second. While that's just sitting there just to kind of drip the last little bit out, I am going to put the water in my oats. So I also do weigh that out, and I like consistency. That's why I weigh my water and my ice, as you'll see in a moment. So I do about 190 to 200 grams of water for this amount of oats. That's fine, 207. I just like it within a range. And I'm gonna do just a quick pour and then whisk it really aggressively with fork so I don't get any lumps. So this is where, with the powdered oats, when they're ground up really fine, they can clump really badly. So I just do a little bit just to kind of get it going, whisk out any big lumps, make sure there's no big clumped together pieces of oat, and then just pour the rest in. All right. I'm gonna throw this in the microwave for 30 seconds. While that's going, I'm going to finish my AeroPress. So now I just kind of make sure it's not gonna drip everywhere. Flip it over, put my cup back on the scale. So we did 210, and I'm going for, I want about 500 total. So going for, you know, close to 300, which is usually, this is an 18-ounce cup, so I kind of know where it usually sits. And if it's not totally there, it's fine. So there we go, 296, that's perfect. I'll put the lid back on. I flung the little topper in the sink and grab that. There we go. So it stays nice and toasty. Gonna grab the oats out of the microwave and gonna stir them again. So you see like they're really runny. And they also, like, you can see how like there's big kind of clumps, like the oats want to kind of clump together. So I like to just whisk that all out of there. Just making sure I get any like big clumps. It doesn't have to be like completely smooth, but the big clumps, they just get really firm and not evenly distributed. All right, and then I'm gonna put this back in the microwave for 1 minute. All right, and while that's going, I'm gonna make my protein shake. So I already did the ice. This cup weighs about 250 grams. So I put an additional, you know, anywhere from 225 to 250 grams in so that I get around 475 to 500 total grams with the weight of the cup. And then I'm gonna do 20 grams of blueberries-ish, 20 to 30. I always track 30 because they pour out really fast, but I kind of aim for anywhere between 20 and 30. It's the difference of a couple of berries, trust me. So we're at 486, we're gonna go for 506. I can do math on the fly. There we go, it's 507, 8-ish, that's fine. Sometimes it's over, sometimes it's under. That's why I said I always track 30 grams. That way I have a little bit of leeway one way or the other. And then it's the difference of like 3 more berries. So it's not a big difference. I'm gonna zero out. I'm gonna do about 75 grams of unsweetened vanilla almond milk. Microwave is done. There we go, 81. Again, I over track this essentially for that reason, so I always have like a little bit of leeway. I'm gonna press the stop button on the microwave so it doesn't beep at me because I hate that. And then the protein powder that I use is this MRE Light from Redcon 1. It's actually a whey-free, so the ingredients in this are from whole protein. It's beef protein isolate, pea protein, brown rice protein, chicken protein, egg albumin, salmon protein. I really like it. It does have some artificial sweeteners in it, some Ace K, and a little bit of sucralose, but it digests extremely well. Obviously, if you have a fish or a egg allergy, this would not be a good fit for you. But if you are trying to avoid dairy, or if whey makes you gassy or upset your stomach, I mean, I love this. And the flavors, oh my gosh, are so delicious. This is the blueberry cobbler flavor. My other favorite is their banana nut. Just the best flavors ever. And again, they don't give me any digestive upset. I don't bloat. I don't have any gas from them, which if you do a lot of whey, that can be a common concern. All right, so we're gonna zero this out. This one, and they're all a little bit different. So this one, a serving is 29 grams. So I'm gonna, try to get 29 to 30, depending on how closely I can get 29 grams. And I usually give it a second like that. There's 29 right on. Perfect. So 29 grams. I'm also going to do about 5 grams of psyllium husk. I don't do a ton of psyllium in the morning. I do a little bit more at night just for fiber digestion. I don't want to do too much in the morning though, because I want this meal to digest pretty quickly, because I did just do a really hard workout. So I don't want to slow it down too much. I want this protein to get in my system quickly. So going for about 36. That's fine. All right. So I will not torture you with the sound of my blender, but now what I'm gonna do is just blend this. The oats I'm gonna leave in the microwave just sitting there until I'm ready to eat them. I'm gonna blend my protein shake. I'm also, while the protein shake is blending, what I would be doing would be cleaning up the AeroPress, which I will show you as well. So I'm gonna get the scale out of the way. Oh, and I'll show you the oats just so you can see what they look like. So they, kind of flat, but it becomes this like really beautiful, like almost like a custard-like texture. Oh, so good. Right now it's my jam. Love it. So AeroPress is super easy to clean. You're just gonna take this filter cap off, push, I want you guys really be able to see that. So you push down and this coffee puck exposes itself. I knock that into the trash, give it a quick little rinse and a scrub with my little brush, and that's it. I'm good to go. So my coffee's ready, my oats are ready, my protein shake at this point is ready. I am ready to go and get on with my day. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. And yes, I am wearing my waist trainer. That's why it looks like I have a belly pooch. Kind of sticks, it's like thick at the bottom. So yeah, if anybody has any questions about my morning routine, or as it changes, I will probably update it. And I'm ready to eat this protein shake and get on with my Sunday. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end of the video. So I'm gonna talk about waist trainers and my kind of ongoing saga to find the perfect waist trainer. I am the Cinderella glass slipper of waist trainers at the moment. So I did end up returning the waist trainer that I first purchased that I thought was the same one as the one I have, just one size smaller. However, when that happened, I kind of started looking on Amazon again to see if maybe there was a different option for a couple of reasons, and I'll explain those now. So the current waist trainer that I wear is this one, and I'm gonna see if you guys can kind of see. Might be hard to see that this one is like perforated. I don't know if that's showing up, but it is just like really slightly perforated. So the inside that touches your skin is like a softer fabric, and then, well, it's not even fabric, it's perforated all the way through, but it's like softer, almost like a t-shirt, and then the outside is like the latex part. It has 9 of these like kind of steel bones, but they're very flexible. So it does bend and flex with you a certain extent. I mean, I can fold it in half really easily. Couple of things with this one. I'm on the tightest hook, and it's snug, but it's far from tight at this point. And of course they they wear out over time. And I've had this one for, oh gosh, probably a year. Probably got it last summer. And I really have enjoyed it. There is something though that has been a problem with it from the very beginning. Like I said, it has these 9 steel bones, essentially is what they call them. And the one that kind of comes here that hits right at the top of the front part of my hip bone puts pressure, like when I get lean, it puts a lot of pressure like on just the nerve endings in that area, and it almost causes me to have like numbness down the front of my thigh and the side of my hip, even if I've only worn it for like 10 minutes. Like it sometimes happens right away. And I've over the year been able to adjust it and kind of make it so that I can line those up where it doesn't do that. But if I was to try and wear it for like hours at a time, eventually it usually would start to kind of migrate over and be really uncomfortable in those areas. And like I said, I don't love the thought of having just like a numb any part of my body for extended periods of time, especially moving forward. So when the one that was like this, I'm like, well, you're probably thinking like, why didn't you just get the small when the extra small is too small of the one that I was ordering? Because like I said, there are some issues with this one that as I kind of started thinking about it more, I thought, well, maybe there is a better option. So looking through the category, all the ones on Amazon, I mean, it's really hard to tell. They all kind of look the same. You never really know what you're going to get. So this one, the next one that I ordered a small and an extra small, even though on their size chart, I absolutely measured out in an extra small. Extra small is the smallest size they have. And I was wishing that they have on their size chart an extra small. And now I really wish that that was available on Amazon, but it isn't. And I've looked to try to find this exact same one in that extra small and cannot find it anywhere on Amazon. So the one that I ordered, and I did end up keeping it, I returned the small and I kept the extra small, is a little bit different. It's like thicker, and you can see that it has this almost extra elastic in it. It's not tight, like I mean, you can see it's loose, but it does kind of just provide a little bit of extra, like almost like warmth and support right in the midline. Now, one thing that I should have said before I started talking about waist trainers is I'm not wearing a waist trainer to make my waist smaller. I'm wearing it to help me kind of cue to keep my upper ribs from flaring. This one is, when I lay them side by side, it's the exact same length as my other one, even though it's smaller, but the only difference is that it has an extra set of hooks. So when I put it on this, like this hook, you know, there's 4 sets of hooks. This one, it's gently snug, but not quite snug enough to be tight. So when I put on this one, like it's definitely, you know, the kind of the perfect amount of snugness, but again, I'm on the last hook again. So I'm already needing to try and find another option, because as I do, you know, get leaner into my show, even though my bone structure is not going to change, the problem I'm running into with this one is, and just wearing it for more hours of the day, like wearing a waist trainer for extended periods of time, if it's not putting pressure against me, I almost feel like I am pushing out against it. And that's exactly what I don't want. Like I'm trying to not encourage my ribs to push out, but when it's not like super snug, that's what you almost end up doing. Your body's like almost trying to fill that space. It's like when you wear a weight belt for lifting, you know, that's the point of it, is that you're actually using that resistance to push out against, to brace your low back. So I don't want that with, you know, with a waist trainer, which is why having one that's like snug-ish is fine, but it's, you know, I'm still on the lookout for one that is actually going to allow me to bring it in as, like I said, they stretch out over time too. Kind of be able to bring it in as I go through prep and have it be more snug. So that's where I'm at right now. And like I said, I am keeping this one. It's snug enough for right now, but I don't know how long it's going to stay that snug. It's really comfortable to wear all day. Oh, and that's the one other really key thing. It has only 8 of the steel bones instead of 9. And so where they're lined up, it's actually just slightly farther apart essentially. So I have had no issues at all, even wearing it all day, with it doing that thing on my hip bone where it causes my leg to be numb, like the front of my leg or my hip to be numb. So that is excellent. And it's also really soft. So this one is not perforated, it's solid, which I thought might be like gross or like too hot, but it isn't. It's actually really soft on the inside, just like a t-shirt. And I've worn it for like a full day of work and been just fine. One thing I will caveat with that is you absolutely do not want to eat with a waist trainer on, and or wear it for at least 30 minutes, like swimming pool rules, after you finish eating, because it can impede digestion. You know, again, I'm not wearing it to be super tight on the middle part of my waist, but just that pressure in general is just gonna probably mess with digestion, and that's the last thing you want. So take it off to eat, leave it off for at least a half hour after you've eaten, and then you can put it back on. I mean, again, it's not doing anything magic. It really is just to help remind me, and it does. It's been great at that, like to kind of just get my mind back in the game, pull those ribs in and down, you know, just making sure like I'm really keeping that upright posture without flaring my ribs. So for what it is supposed to be doing right now, it is doing it. If you guys would like a link to this, the one I'm keeping, I'm happy to send that to you. Just leave me a comment and I'm happy to send that to you. It is a good waist trainer. Definitely though, look at the chart and believe what the chart says, because this is the extra small. And as you saw, like I'm already on the last hook, even though I measure in that category. If I was any littler, it wouldn't fit, right? I'd have the same issue I had with the previous one where it was too big. So yeah, that's where I'm at with waist trainers. I really appreciate everyone for listening and watching to this video. It is so awesome. I hope that you have found value in this series so far, and I'm really excited to bring more interesting content to my videos. Like I mentioned in my second intro, my non-windy intro, that I'm going to talk some more next week about my kind of prep essentials, and I'm happy to talk about anything else that you guys are interested in hearing about my prep. I will hopefully have my fabric samples back from Angel Competition bikinis for my next week video, so we can kind of take a look at all the pretty fabric samples and see what might look good with my skin. As you can see, I do have naturally red hair. And last year my suit was a really pretty blue color. Well, you've seen it. It's in the bikini bottoms in my check-in photo. My check-in video that I posted, I'm actually wearing my posing top, but my show day bottoms, just to kind of, again, see how they're looking and feeling and the things I dislike about them really more than anything. So yeah, so you can see that it's a really pretty blue color, is beautiful, but just the cut, the fit is just not good. So since I might be getting a new suit, I'm hoping to find some fun colors, and that should be a fun thing to go along for as well. All right. So again, thank you everyone so much. I deeply appreciate it. Please leave comments below if you have them, questions, and be positive about yourself, about the world, about everyone around you. And thank you so much for joining me on this journey.